We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, would interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is your fucking host. It is April 8th, 2026. So, just got off work. I was supposed to be off today, but I picked up a shift. So that puts me at either like 38, 37, 39, somewhere around there-ish hours. So, almost a 40-hour week. I'm very thankful. I'm very happy. All I want is 40 hours, man. Just give me 40 hours, you know. I got bills to pay. I got stuff to fix. I hope y'all had a good Easter. If you haven't tuned in, this is kind of related a little bit to Easter. So, let's see. As far as updates, I think that's about it. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, you get a bumper sticker. These things are hardcore. I have one on my car. My wife has one on her coffee mug. They hold up. They're weatherproof. And you get a bookmark. I will sign the bookmarks unless you message me, hey, don't sign the bookmark. I want it pristine. Because some people are collectors. You know, I collect bookmarks, I collect trading cards, some people collect stamps, you never know. So, unless you tell me, I'm automatically going to sign it. Because who knows, I might be famous one day. So, you guys know, if you're longtime listeners, how I feel about prophecy. I don't like to use the term, but I have very strong intuition. I used to have a cardomancy / tarot / oracle card. Let's just say it like it is, man. I was a fortune teller back in the day. My business was called Jack of All Trades. Fortune telling. I used to do fortune telling as a side business. I think the most I made was $5. But I do practice tarot. I do practice cardomancy, Lenormand. I practice oracle cards. But I'm also an occult item collector in general. I'm pretty good with reading, but I also have like a very good intuition. I'm what the non-initiated would say is psychic, even though everyone is psychic. You just have to learn how to tune it in. You have to learn how to tap into it. I like to say that we're all X-Men. We really are. Like, I mean, I could learn telekinesis. Everyone is psychic. You know, I hate the phrase, I hate when people go, oh, so-and-so is psychic. And I just look at them and I go, we're all psychic. You just have to learn how to tap into it. You know, some people it's easier. Some people it's not, you know. But I never go out and say make prophecies on this channel. And I've had people in the comment section go, well, you said this was going to happen. And I go, no, I didn't. Yes, you did on such and such episode. And I go, No, I said I think this is going to happen, or I have a strong feeling this will happen. Never said it's going to happen. I don't, like, when I was younger and I first got red pilled, like first woke up, I was really big into like Nostradamus, the Bible code, all these different prophecy stuff. Like, I was really big into the woo woo. But I learned real quick, this is why QAnon never made it. Like, this is why they lost a lot of their people, was, for one, people figured out that it was literally the playbook of Operation Trust. Also, if you make a prophecy and it doesn't come true, it ruins your credibility for the rest of your life. Everyone thinks you're a fucking nutcase, and or a liar, and or a grifter. I've done a couple episodes. I've done one on Kim Clement. Kim Clement, look, I like Kim Clement, watching him as far as like the music and the theatrics of it all. But I look at him as like a magician, not with a K, but with a C, of like, oh, cool. You know, ain't it crazy how he has this much power over all these sheep? I actually admire it, but he does the whole like, oh, I'm feeling the Holy Spirit. He's from South Africa. But like, none of his prophecies even make sense. They're so open-ended. And you'll notice this if you go to like fortune tellers, if you ever go down to like Baton Rouge, Louisiana, you know, somewhere like that, or Nolans. If you go down to Nolans, like, you'll notice there's like these like tricksters, like these grifters who are fortune tellers, and they always leave their prophecies open-ended. You'll notice it in your astrology section of the newspaper. Do you ever notice how, like, do me a favor, read someone else's astrology sign and watch how much it applies to you, even though you're not born in that month. It's all open-ended. It's real slick how they do it, dude. And this is coming from someone who used to be a fortune teller, you know. I was the real deal, but yeah, it's a lot of it's crummy. Very rarely, though, do I have to say a prophecy. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of started looking into this dude, Chris Bledsoe. If you've ever looked up, well, if you've clicked on this video, you know what we're gonna talk about. So I'm gonna just read it along with you, because the prophecy, I listened to the clip of his interview, just clips of his interview of this upcoming April prophecy. A lot of people are saying he may have specified specifically on Easter, but some people say just April of 2026. It's still April of 2026. But I want to see if he specifically said Easter, because everything in this prophecy that he is saying is like oddly really relevant. Like orbs. He basically, to sum it up quickly, said Iran and Israel would be exchanging missiles. That orbs would come out of the water, essentially USOs, and stop the war. In April of 2026, and they would reveal themselves to us, and we got this alien disclosure shit going on, which I find weird. I've literally got a playlist created, like, we've been covering it, because I think Bluebeam is coming next. The final card, if you know Warner Von Braun's little shenanigans that he was talking about to his assistant, we'll have to do a whole deep dive on that, but let's get into it. This is really weird, and there's supposed to be some sort of thing that's supposed to line up with the Sphinx, which is about to line up. It ties in with SpaceX, one of their patches of a star above the Sphinx. I will show you that if we have time. It's really weird. There's a lot of things that I'm like, this ain't fucking coincidence. I swear, man, like, I think we are getting closer every day to, like, Bluebeam. They're going to pull off a fake alien invasion. I could be crazy, I could be schizophrenic, but that's my theory. So, when the Sphinx sees red, the Easter 2026 prophecy. And this was written April 6th, 2 days ago. The UFO of God guy and his startling Iran war prophecy for April 5th, 2026. I wrote about Chris Bledsoe several months ago in a story titled When God Sends a UFO. I was scrolling the social media site Threads. I've never even heard of that website. Maybe I'm just a boomer out of touch, but... So I was strolling the media site Threads a couple nights ago when I saw his name mentioned, and what I read had startled me, to the point I had to read it twice. Same, dude, because when I heard this shit, I literally showed my wife. I was like, dude, I'm not big on prophecy, but listen to what this motherfucker's saying. And he said this back in like 2012. Like, it's fucking weird. It seems that Bledsoe has made a prophecy that has to do with war in Iran, a prediction that something strange and otherworldly will happen this Easter Sunday. Okay, so this dude says he specifically said this Easter Sunday, so the prophecy did not come true. But listen to what he says. Like, I'm not trying to be like some QAnon guy. I'm not trying to say, hey, you know, like, we should believe everything this guy says, but he gets like 2 out of 3 right. Like, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, you know? Wasn't that a Meatloaf song? 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Sorry, I love Meatloaf. So he said it was supposed to happen April 5th, 2026. Before I reveal it, here's a little background on Bledsoe. I've never really heard of this guy, but then I recalled when Sam Tripoli brought it up that he did come on Tinfoil Hat. So I've listened to every single episode of Tinfoil Hat. So I have heard this guy speak before. I just couldn't recall, you know, because he's got Tinfoil Hat's got like shit a billion fucking episodes. Bledsoe had an encounter with a UFO, and high strangeness followed. Bledsoe is the author of a book titled UFO of God. I ain't gonna lie, I would like to pick up a copy of that and see what he has to say. If you guys don't know, I'm not gonna rehash it, but I have had 3 UFO encounters. One of them where I was physically chased by a fireball type UFO, an orange/red orb. Multiple of them, a whole fleet. Had missing time. Okay, in which he detailed the stranger than fiction tale of his encounter with a UFO and what happened afterwards. What follow is an excerpt from my original story. Bledsoe is from rural North Carolina, a small business owner and dedicated churchgoer, so he's a Christian, it sounds like. But his life goes topsy-turvy after he encounters a fiery UFO during a fishing trip on the Cape Fear River. So they're describing it as fiery. It sounds like he might have seen the same type of UFO that I have, the fireball, which is one of the categories. I mean, you got like disc, cigar, Tic Tac, fireball, TR3Bs, you know. I told you all I was a ufologist, man. The UFO seemed to chase him, and the event is witnessed by several others, including his teenage son. By far, the strangest part of Bledsoe's story isn't the UFO that he witnessed, or the quote-unquote missing time, which I suffered from. That was part of that encounter. It's the weird happenings that followed him home. One day in his backyard, a tree spontaneously burst into flames. Wow, that's like some burning bush Moses shit. Brilliant, white beyond white orbs began appearing in and around his home. I've had those encounters, a lot of people who are paranormal investigators like to try to separate the paranormal from ufology, and a lot of people who are ufologists try to separate the paranormal from ufology. It all ties together. It's the trickster phenomena. Check out John A. Keel. Get into egregores, tulpas, high strangeness in general. All of it is tied together. Look into like Skinwalker Ranch. Paranormal and ufology are tied together, and cryptozoology, but they all hate each other. It's the strangest thing. I'm into all three, so I'm a weirdo, you know. By far the strangest part of Bledsoe's story isn't the UFO that he witnessed or the missing time. Okay, so he started seeing orbs in his home. What's more, those around him, including friends and acquaintances who visit Bledsoe, began to experience what he calls, quote-unquote, the phenomena. It's a good way to put it. As well, some began seeing UFOs and orbs in the skies around their homes, as if just being in Bledsoe's proximity is enough to export the high strangeness. Okay, this phenomenon right there, when you are around, like where they had been around Bledsoe, and they were taking the stuff home with him, they call this the hitchhiker phenomena. So there's a lot of people who like have been to Skinwalker Ranch, right? This is tons of accounts. And while they're at Skinwalker Ranch, nothing happens. But as soon as they come home, like, it's ruined marriages. It has ruined people's lives. They bring something back with them. They bring back the phenomena. So then, like, they have poltergeist and orbs and voices, and they see cryptids and UFO. Yeah, it's insane. They call it the hitchhiker phenomena. Look into it. It's fucking nuts. So yeah, you might be around them and not see nothing, but then as soon as you go home, shit hits the fan. Bledsoe has a visit with a defined figure he calls, quote-unquote, the lady. One night, Bledsoe is lifted from his bed through the roof by a brilliant bluish-white light. Sounds like the blue fairy from, like, Pinocchio. And this is hovering above his house. He senses he is being transported into another dimension and winds up in a canyon carved deep into the land. There, three entities lead him to a brilliant light where he meets, quote-unquote, the lady. He describes her like this. Her dress was such a bright white, I could hardly look at it. She was seated on a massive stone-carved throne in a recess in the canyon wall. This sounds like a goddess. As the beings led me to her, I watched her unmoving, powerful, unspeakable beauty. Yeah, sounds like a goddess. He describes her as the mother spirit. That's interesting because the Native Americans, like, we call God usually father spirit. So that's interesting as hell. And usually mother, we just call her Gaia, like Mother Earth. Father spirit, Mother Earth. She's more of the physical, he's more of the spiritual. I'm just saying, I've just noticed shit like that. And some speculate she represents the divine feminine consciousness. Okay, Bledsoe sees the lady in white as representing the spirit of God. He sees a benevolent aura surrounding all my experiences, believing they are the handiwork of God. He has had several encounters with the lady since. Interesting. You might think this sounds crazy, but know that Bledsoe is friends with high-level officials in both NASA and the CIA. Okay, I didn't know that part. This dude sounds sketchy as fuck. NASA, we all know, never a straight answer. CIA, those three letters pop up, I swear to God, in like 90% of conspiracies. Anytime you see NASA or CIA, sketchy as fuck. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to bash on this Bledsoe guy, but that's sketchy as fuck. I didn't know that. But hey, that's why we learn together. Who believe what he says. A former CIA senior intelligence officer, Jim Semivan. Your last name is Semivan? There's no fucking way. That's got to be an alias. Investigated Bledsoe's case for over a decade and was so convinced by Bledsoe's story he wrote the foreword to his book UFO of God. So the CIA is like backing it. Yeah, and it says a former CIA. Once CIA, always CIA. That's why when I hear people say, "Oh, this is a guy who's ex-CIA." There's no such thing as ex-CIA, dude. Once CIA, always CIA, bro. Bledsoe received a message from the lady about the Iran war. So I was wrong. This says 2013, but everyone keeps saying 2012. Unless this article's wrong. Back in 2013, Bledsoe received a message that thousands of orbs would rise from the world's oceans in 2026, when Iran and Israel started bombing each other. Okay, where is the Easter part? It's still April. I know he said April. I don't remember him saying Easter specifically, but, you know. He says the orbs will appear specifically to stop the conflict and wake humanity up before it destroys itself. And by the way, we have had tons of accounts of UFO literally stopping nuclear. Go look at how many accounts, and maybe we'll do a deep dive one day of how many times UFO have stopped nuclear missile plants, like bases. Yeah. Anyways, there's been tons of accounts of UFO showing up and literally messing with the electronics and shit inside and stopping missile launches, and it's crazy. So this is why I don't think these things are demonic. I mean, I know there's a lot of Christians out there that are like, they're demons, they're demons. But then again, these people think everything is evil. They're like the mom from, not Happy Gilmore. Was that Happy Gilmore? No. Waterboy. They're like the mom from Waterboy. Everything's the devil, you know? Because, like, why would they stop nuclear war? Wouldn't you think a demon would like nuclear war? Just saying. Makes no sense. That, and there's been reports of people who literally have been, like, having health issues, abducted by aliens, and then brought back, and the aliens have done, like, surgery on them and, like, maybe fixed their appendix from being burst, or, like, I've even heard crazy-ass stories of them fixing their dental shit. Of, like, maybe they have an abscessed tooth, or they're missing, you know, they got cavities, and, like, literally the aliens would fix their teeth and then drop them back off. That doesn't sound demonic to me. I'm sorry, maybe I'm just crazy, but, you know, a sort of divine intervention that would usher in a new beginning for humanity, letting us know we are being watched and protected. I hope so. I hope there's something out there watching and protecting us. They are usually described as glowing balls of light, ranging from the size of a basketball to much larger. They often pulsate or change colors, most frequently appearing as white gold or a deep burnt orange. So that might be similar to the one I've seen. Yeah, I would say it was kind of a burnt orange, yeah. Bledsoe views them as quote-unquote guardians, the divine feminine returning to Earth to guide us, and our leaders to a new level of consciousness. So he did appear on the Danny Jones podcast. Shout outs to him, honestly, dude. There's a lot of people talking shit about Danny Jones, and I think what it is it's jealousy, because their podcast is not as big as Danny Jones. And Danny Jones did kind of pop up out of nowhere. So there's a lot of people automatically, if you pop up out of nowhere and have success within this community is toxic as fuck. The conspiracy community. I mean, it just is what it is. There's people who think I'm like fucking disinfo and shit, and it's like, bro, like, if I'm CIA and disinfo, I live in a fucking trailer. Like, there's boards on the window, dude. Where's my fucking paycheck? Look at my kicks, dog. But you know what I mean? People say the craziest shit. I personally like it because he gets a lot of dope-ass guests on there. And I wish him more success. But apparently he's had Bledsoe on there. I didn't know that in 2023. So let's see. But Bledsoe had said that the new knowledge was given to him during a series of new encounters he had with the lady. She told him the orbs would appear when Regulus turning red at the Sphinx's gaze. So, this is where it gets creepy. That's actually happening apparently right now or very soon. I'm not an astrologer, or an astronomer, but they said this actually has happened. And this is where it gets weird too. It's actually on one of the fucking patches that SpaceX patches, where it's literally the Sphinx, and right above it, it's like staring at a star. Go Google image it. I might use it as the thumbnail, which at the time made no sense to Bledsoe. So how does this relate to Easter, April 5th, 2026? Okay, so Bledsoe never said Easter. So I do have to say, I don't remember. I seen that clip with Bledsoe multiple times that had been going around on the internet. His prophecy, it doesn't sound like, is debunked yet. And if you notice, Trump, apparently, I seen it on the news today, apparently we are at a 2-week ceasefire with Iran right now. Supposedly, that's what I've seen. So maybe the prophecy won't come true, but wouldn't it not come true if the ceasefire is going on and we've kind of chilled out? Maybe we'll come to a peace agreement. But as far as I know, Bledsoe never said Easter. He just said April 2026. From every clip that I've seen, he's just said April 2026. And it's only the 8th. I'm not saying believe this prophecy, but you gotta admit, this is fucking weird, right? When did Bledsoe first reveal his revelation? He didn't mention a specific date, but he believed the event would be around the September equinox, fall 2026. Okay. So, he says fall 2026 is when he believes it'll happen. So, we still got till fall until this prophecy either comes true or doesn't. And by the way, the war with Iran and Israel, like, that's a weird thing to say in 2013 and predicted on 2026. I'm not saying I believe it, but you gotta admit, it is fun and interesting. But when several astrologers heard the news, they explained what his message meant. Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation Leo, the lion. In Egyptian symbolism, the Sphinx is often linked to Leo, which we know that. Well, I know that, but if you're an Egyptologist and you've been a fan of the channel long enough, you know that. The gaze refers to the moment Regulus rises above the eastern horizon, appearing directly in the line of sight of the Sphinx. As Regulus rises, its light must pass through a much thicker layer of Earth's atmosphere than when it is overhead. So Nut, the goddess Nut, the firmament, aka the atmosphere, scatters away the blue and violet light, leaving only the red and orange wavelengths to reach our eyes. Man, I wish I was a millionaire, because I would love to just go out there and chill at the Sphinx and see this shit with my own 2 naked eyes. Take some pictures, film it. On Easter Sunday, will thousands of orbs rise from the ocean? It's after Easter Sunday. I think we kind of got our answer on that one. So, isn't history full of prophecies that never come true? Yes, but let's give Bledsoe some credit. In 2013, he did predict a war between Iran and Israel in 2026. Okay, so this is a good writer. He's kind of like the same mindset as me. Though even 13 years ago, the idea may not have been so far-fetched. True, because the Middle East has always been a fucking shit show. There's a good Family Guy sketch, which I love it. It's the birth of Jesus. Go look it up. It's fucking hilarious. But there's this guy, he runs up and he goes, "Hey, did you hear there's a magical baby born in a barn in Jerusalem or Bethlehem?" And everyone goes, "What?" Ah! And they all just start stabbing each other. I'm like, yep. This is why I don't practice like stupid Judeo or Abrahamic religions, you know. Islam, Judaism, and fucking Christianity are like the downfall of humankind. Hail Satan, dude. But anyways, though even 13 years ago, the idea may not have been so far-fetched, but foreseeing thousands of orbs from the... That's not me, dude. This is like, I'm not drunk or nothing. This guy... Thousands or orbs. It's thousands orbs. Sorry, but the editor failed on that one. That journalist side of me is coming out. I used to be one. Takes the prediction, or what he prefers to call a message, to a whole other level. Watch this video of Chris Bledsoe. No, I'm good. So April 6th. So this is an update. Monday, April 6th. This is the next day of after Easter. On Easter Sunday, April 5th, there were no verified reports of luminous orbs rising from the Persian Gulf, the Mediterranean, or the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. However, several researchers and astrologers believe the real alignment of Regulus at the Sphinx gaze will occur on October 7th, 2026. Bledsoe said it would be fall of 2026. So October 7th, 2026 is when the astrological alignment with the Sphinx's gaze and that star Regulus of the Leo constellation will happen. I guarantee you it is not 2 weeks to flatten the curve on this war. I guarantee you this war will probably still be going on. And I don't know. I think this war is still going to keep going. I think we're going to head into World War III because Warner von Braun said there's going to be pretty much like the movie, what was the movie? Armageddon. There's going to be fear-mongering of like asteroids, wormwood, you know, like the Bible, which is the Bible. Christianity is one of the biggest psyops ever. There's going to be wormwood fear. And then there's going to be World War III. And then he said the final card will be Project Bluebeam, a fake alien invasion. So it might happen, man. October 2026. I'm not trying to amp you up. Let me know what you think in the comments. Comment section is going to be a shit show because there's a lot of... This is a heavy one. Let me know what you think about Chris Bledsoe's prophecy. Love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, press the hype button, man. Everyone gets 3 hypes per week. I always save mine for smaller content creators like myself because the big boys, they get enough attention on the algorithm and with fans as it is. I'm shadow banned, so I need the hype points. Please hype it if you like it. I always save mine for smaller content creators. If you're on Spotify, fill out the polls. Helps me on the algorithm over there. That's about it. Love y'all. Hit me up in the comments. That helps too. And I actually respond to every comment. So y'all have a good day.